Alrighty, here we go. Steve here. Welcome to The Varied Life. We're back. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Steve. Yeah, the retired hobby tech guy. And what we're doing is we're playing around with Lightburn. We are, just look at the title. It is clickbait. Mastering multi-layers epic shadow box creations unveiled. How much clickbait can you get other than that? So we're just going to jump right on in here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at Lightburn, and in previous videos what I ended up doing is showing you how I made some little shadow box stuff. We did a little exercise where we ended up taking like a little box, and then we had the back, and then we had a mountain, and then we had other mountains, and then we had another layer where it had like a wolf and a fox. Matter of fact, here it is right here, and we'll just go back and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And yeah, so there it is. It's just kind of some of the pieces came off there because it's just way too small. But you can kind of get an idea on what we were doing there. And again, this is more about practicing in Lightburn and being able to create a product. Granted, it's small, I wouldn't sell it, but getting the exercise and working inside of Lightburn is something that is invaluable. So we're going back into Lightburn, and what we ended up doing is basically expanding upon what we learned when we did our little tiny shadow box here. We ended up with what, 4 layers, and I stuck, we got the wolf and a fox, a tree. We had some other trees in the background, but the stalks on the trees, the trunks were so small because I only have an 80 millimeter by 80 millimeter build area or engraving and cutting area. So yeah, it's really, really small. So over here, what we end up having is part of a project that I've been working on. And so in other words, I had this project here, which was a graphic of an eagle, and with the eagle, what we ended up doing is some pretty neat stuff. Let's rotate this around so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. But all we ended up doing with this eagle here is we engraved it. I've got a cheap little entry-level $200 diode laser system, which is probably the cheapest you could get, and engraved that onto the 3 millimeter basswood. And then you see we have the red line there, which indicates that it is the cut line. So we engraved it, we cut it out, and if we take a look at this, and yeah, we want to take a look at that, and yeah, so basically it goes through and it does all that. Since we already did this and our laser is turned off, what I ended up doing is making all of these the same size. And so I made one, boom, Control D, duplicate, did another one, did another one, did another one. So I had 4 layers, as we can see here. So this one is the back, the mountain, and this one here is what we end up having is the mountain and a couple of helicopters. We'll see how those turned out. And then another one, which was these guys right here, which ended up being the soldiers. So I had some soldiers, again, some really small, when you're considering that this is shrunk down to a 3.14 inch by 3.14 inch engraving area. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And then the last one was this here with the United States Army logo on it, which is going to be engraved, and then everything else is going to be cut out. So that was what I have been working on, and we'll see how this works out. Matter of fact, I printed out one of these, and I'd say it took about, with my rinky-dink little laser, each one of these took about 7-8 minutes. I think was the longest was like 9 minutes or something like that. And again, it's a small laser, it's slow, it is what it is. But I actually went through and printed this out on my rinky-dink, really cheap laser. We're going to take a look at that. So with that, I need to do something here. So we're going to go ahead and we'll do that, and we're there, and what we'll end up is do this and do that. If we can go ahead and we can do our We want this camera, and there we go. There it is. And you know, we've got our little one that we did here, our little box there, which turned out kind of cool, not too bad. And then in previous ones, basically like little nameplates for GI Joe, since that's about the only size that I can end up doing here. But it's just kind of some cool practice that you can end up doing on Lightroom. So with that being said, these are the results. And matter of fact, let me get a little bit of an overlay so you can see my ugly mug. And there I am. So yeah, we're going to start off with this one here. And of course, this just pops out. As we can see, there is the result. So some pretty clean cuts, pretty good. A little bit of bleed through on the back. We've got some little bit of sap or whatever that is. But on this side, that is going to be our very back. And that turned out pretty good. Could be a little bit darker, but then again, my laser's cheap. And yeah, it is what it is. So we'll set that aside and we will do that one there. And the next one is the mountain, which is this one here. And we already have pieces that are starting to fall out on this, and which makes it easy. So we'll get rid of that. Again, we got a little bit of residue on the back, but this is what we have here. Now this, we're going to remove some of these. Notice I've got two helicopters. On the previous one that I did, I just did it lengthwise and didn't enlarge them as like I did here. So these are a little bit bigger, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get those out of there. Yeah. We can get the body of the helicopter, as you can see there. Yeah, the body of the helicopter, but we're not going to be able to get the blades or anything like that because it's just too small. So yeah, that's why I want to get a bit bigger laser. And then we have our other one here, and that'll be the same way. Just crashed and burned. Got the little outline on there, but what we want to do is we want to remove this. And hopefully, now I think we've got a couple of areas on here where we're going to need, where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Or I might have to do a little bit of cutting out. Whoa, I don't want to be too dangerous with this. And now that I'm thinking about this, trying to get all of this whole piece out of here in one piece, I think it's good to note that, yeah, I can probably do that because of how thin this is. Maybe next time that I do this, I'll add some additional cut lines so that way I can remove this in sections instead of just what we see here. Ooh. Oh, I think I broke it. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it, Jim. Almost. Well, yeah, we did break it a little bit. But, again, we're limited. But with that, that's why we have super glue. So we can repair this a little bit. So let's see if we can end up... Ooh. We'll see if we can kind of put that back in place. And the super glue is unforgiving. That's for sure. Once it sticks, it's there. So there is the result. And again, you can end up seeing that this is just really, really small and thin, but it came out and it worked. So we'll end up doing, it's a little crooked, but that's okay. clean off our super glue here. Am I the only one that just has problems with super glue? Probably not. Which brings us to our next piece, which is this guy right here. And we already have pieces falling out, which is good. So we'll throw those out. And, ooh. Oh, we got one piece out. And again, probably would have been a good idea is to add some cut lines in here so I could take this out in sections. And I got junk on the back. So you can see like right there, we've got a little line that needs to be cut, that it didn't go all the way through. And so we will do that, and voila. But now we got to get through the rest of this stuff. And this is the same problem that I had before with all of with the other one that I did that was like so much smaller. And the soldiers on there were extremely small. I barely got those guys out. So we got a little piece out there. And yeah, this is going to be delicate. And I'm trying to look and see if I can. How did I do this? I want to say I just kind of did a line. Yeah. And so I got that little piece out of there. And then this piece. But something else is sticking and holding. Oh, we got it. Yes, we got it. So there's our soldiers. So that actually came out. I'm really surprised I didn't break that. So we got that. And then the next piece is the piece with our, oops, sorry about that, with our United States Army logo on the bottom there. So let's see if we can get can we get that in there a little bit more? Not bad. Good enough for G.I. Joe. And this is going to be fairly easy because there are no real intricate parts, and that pops out like so. So, all these little dingleberries, put them back in the trash. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we'll assemble this. So, first thing is we're going to have our background, and then we will have this guy here. And I think what I ended up doing, learning my lesson last time, is because it was hard to get everything to line up as far as the shapes. It was like, let's line everything up first. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll add some super glue, and then we can do some minor adjustments. So that way it actually turns out okay. And again, this is the G.I. Joe version. So I don't know, how many of you had G.I. Joes when you were kids? G.I. Joe was the man. Of course, my G.I. Joe went through a lot of stuff. So yeah. Let's see, we'll just put a little drop there. And we'll put a little drop there. And I think we'll just add tiny drops. should be good. This stuff dries super quick. And it's unforgiving. So there is our first two layers. And again, this is all what we did in Lightburn. You can see that. And now we're going to put on, make sure I don't put my fingers on the super glue. We're going to go ahead and put on our next piece, which are the soldiers here on top of that. So we'll do the same thing. Let's see if we can line this up. And of course, with larger pieces, this would be so much easier. But we'll do that. And good thing is we can just throw a little bit of glue on there. Spread that around, that'll dry instantly. And we will do some little adjustments here. Yeah, me and super glue, yeah, we always have fun. You know, put a little dab there. We will hold that. Like I said, it's unforgiving, but now we've got our soldiers and we've got the layers. So again, doing the little proof of concept thing here. And then the last piece is going to be this piece here with our U.S. Army logo on there. That's going to be hard to see. Let's see if we can. Yeah, look at that. It's not bad. It's not bad for being rinky-dink size. We've got one little piece we need to pop out here. And it popped out like a charm. So now we'll place this on here. I think this will be really cool, especially when I get a better laser, a bigger and better laser. This will be pretty impressive. So what we'll end up doing is we'll just add some on that side, do a little bit on this side. That's a little off. Dang it. Not too bad. Not off by much. The good thing is we can sandwich this together. Probably put way too much on there. And for this one, we will hold this in place. Do the same thing here. This bottle of super glue is the longest bottle I've ever used. Usually they get so clogged up and Get all jacked up and everything. So there is our final result for our G.I. Joe shadow box with our tiny little, yeah, there it is, not bad. And you can see we got the different layers in there. I was thinking about, doing this and painting and all that stuff, and then I was like, no, we'll just put it together. So anyway, yeah, I think that turned out pretty cool. And compared to the original little tiny shadow box that we ended up doing, I'm pretty pleased with the results that we got. So again, and I can feel the super glue on my fingers. Imagine that. What are the odds? But yeah, definitely some cool stuff. And let's go back to the normal view that we have here. And yeah, kind of some cool stuff of dealing and doing multiple layers in Lightburn. And again, going back to that, just to kind of show you what we ended up doing. We did 4 layers, we engraved that, and then it cut it. And then we had this one here, which was the mountain, had the couple of helicopters, which were way too small. We couldn't get the blades or anything. We had the bodies. And then we ended up doing this one here, which was the soldiers, and that there with the U.S. Army logo on there. And it actually came out better than what I expected. And for a quick little overview, basically, so I kind of doing some other test runs and stuff over here. But basically, when you end up and you're making a square or a rectangle, and then basically all you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, well, that's the box that I'm going to use. And we'll make this a line. And once we have that line, to be able to create the main template, of course, this is going to be the back of our thing, but we're going to go over here to shape offset. And then we'll do, I don't know, let's just do an inward offset of the keyboard out. We'll just do, I don't know, 4. And so that way, that is our background. So the outside shape that we have there, that is going to be our back plate. And then that will be the border. And of course, once we do that, we can take these. And let's say if we just take both of these, oops. And of course, no, hit the selection tool. Now we'll select this. We'll get both of those. We'll do Command D and we'll create a duplicate like we see here. And then like this one down here will be our first one. It'll be our back, so we don't need that border. So we can just go ahead and delete that. And our next layer, like I said, if we wanted to do a mountain, let's go find some mountains here. And mountain, okay. And what we'll end up doing, there's a nice big mountain there. And it is extremely big. And so we'll downsize that. So basically what you're going to end up doing is you're going to be taking a shape and making it however wide and tall that you want for your shadow box. And then what we'll end up doing, as we can see here, the mountain is selected. So we'll hold down the shift key and then we'll take this inner border, and now they're both selected. And now we can start doing our Boolean functions. Now you can go down here to the left to do these, but what I found is that if you use the Boolean function up on like a range, I think it is, no, it's tools. Yeah, you can go to your Boolean assistant or Control B on a Mac. And then what this allows you to do, the cool thing about this is that as you run your cursor over these, it'll show you what it will do. So you can kind of get a highlight of saying, hey, this is what it's going to do. You don't have to keep going back and forth. And we want to subtract B from A, so we'll hit OK. And there's what we have. So basically, we want our border, all that stuff that's in here, that's going to be cut out. And this is going to be the background. But we need to get rid of this box down here. So what we'll do is we'll just highlight that. And what we can end up doing is right-clicking and go to Ungroup, or you can do it from the up here on edit and, do all that stuff, auto group, ungroup, whatever. And so now that these are ungrouped, I can select this right here and I can just hit delete. And then I can group all these together like so. And there's my next layer. So all this in here is going to be cut out and this is going to be left. So in other words, if I end up taking this and putting it over my back layer, this will be the next layer. And again, you could just keep going on and making as many layers as you want. You go ahead and put trees and deers and animals and people and whatever the hell you want to make your little shadow box. So yeah, the Boolean function is really good. You can use these, but basically what happens is, you start to get a shape. Let's kind of pull a shape in here. And what I found, unfortunately, with the Boolean function, I'll kind of do this, and then I'll select it, and then I'll go over here, and I can, weld them all together. No, that's not it. So I got to do Command Z to undo it. Is it this one? No. Command Z again. I go down to this one. No, it's not what I want. Do I want this one? No, it's not what I want. So it's better just to do the Command B, and as you go over these different options, you can see what exactly they're going to do. So that ends up being a great way to do your Boolean functions until you get used to it and you get smarter than me. So yeah. So anyway, that's what we end up having is doing our light burn results and doing our little test. And again, like we ended up seeing here was our little box that we ended up doing. Of course, we had some trees, we had some felled trees and stuff like that, but kind of tried to do a sunset or a sunrise in the background. Didn't print out too well because I was just kind of hurrying. But then what we ended up doing is this, which is our big one. And you can see we got the U.S. Army on there, the logo. We've got our layers. And again, this is going to be a refrigerator magnet. That's what this is going to be. This is going to be a refrigerator magnet. This is already a refrigerator magnet. But when I get a larger laser system, I really want to be able to get and make something like this into larger. We're talking about a wingspan about like this, about 15 inches or so. So yeah, interesting stuff, fun stuff that you can do with lasers. And, this could be really cool. You could end up having a plaque. You could put a nameplate down on the bottom. It's limitless on what you could end up doing. You could even put holes in the back and so that you could hang it on the wall or, whatever. Just kind of some cool stuff. So that's what we got going on with the light burn and creating a multi-awesome light burn layered extravaganza unveiled masterpiece. Yeah, it was clickbait. I admit it's clickbait. So at least I was honest, right? I was honest. So if you got anything out of this, like and subscribe to the channel, The Buried Life on YouTube. I would really appreciate that. If you're like these people over here, these awesome people who I have much respect for, they have bought me coffee. And if you want to do the same thing, you can do that in the description box down below. If you don't, that's fine. But at least give a like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing more stuff with Lightburn. And yeah, we're going to do some more stuff with the little tiny laser and I want to show you like how tiny of a laser this really is. And let me get this camera thing crazy. And let's just go ahead and we'll switch. Okay, so this is my little laser. That is my Wayne Lux K10. It is a 5-watt laser system, which is super rinky-dinky. Like I said, it's about $200 on Amazon. But with that being said, over here, what I was able to do is I've done about 80 coasters for a client, and that turned out pretty cool. Let's go ahead and put that there. And we'll come back to the main screen. So Yeah, even though it's a rinky-dink little 5-watt laser system, I was able to do a ton of slate coasters. So I did slate coasters for, of course, the wife. I did slate coasters for me. I did slate coasters for two people on the wife's side of the family, and then of course I did ones for the wife, and then I offered to do some custom work, and I got my first order, and yeah, $400 order. And doing it off of a little cheap little 5-watt $200 diode laser, and was able to crank out 80 coasters and yeah, make some money. So it's yeah, it's a done deal. It worked out well. So now that really kind of put a fire under my butt to, since I'm really liking these lasers, and if you've watched me in the prior videos, when I first got this thing, like 2 months ago, yeah, 2 months ago, I've only had it 2 months. And it ends up that I didn't think I was going to like it. The company sent it to me, said, hey, do a review. And I said, I do honest reviews, so, I'm going to tell them like it is. And they're like, fine, that's absolutely fine. Just, whatever, do whatever you want to do. And it was like, cool. And then, yeah, I got hooked on laser engraving. Then I found out all the other cool stuff. I've engraved medals. I've done dog tags. Yeah, talking about the dog tags. Here is a dog tag that I ended up doing. So check that out, a 3D dog tag, which is crazy insane. So we did that. We got some other ones. Oh, I did this. That's a test one. But that turned out, so I did this is another test one that I ended up doing. So it's kind of, but even that came out good. That's a little test piece that I did there. And then I actually did one with like the American flag, a tattered American flag, and then I had the word veteran on there. I've actually got it on my keychain, so it's kind of cool. And then you could do some text on the back. So I've done that. I've engraved on glass, which, yeah, I've actually done that as well. Which this here, check that out. Of course, that's with some black acrylic. And that's a QR code that has my contact information. And there's on the other side. And then, of course, I've also done some other glass with pictures of me and the wife, and have a little LED stand. You put it in and it lights up, and that's really cool, and she likes that. So yeah, definitely got into laser engraving, and so now I'm looking at getting a bigger machine. We'll see how that goes, but definitely want to try to get something in the next few months, and we'll see. Hopefully that will work out. And if we can do that, then yeah, it'll be game on with a bigger and better laser than the little 5-watt that I have there. But I was amazed when I got this little thing that there's people that were actually making products, selling them, and people making money with this little 5-watt rinky-dink laser system. Granted, I'm starting to see some decrease in power because I've just been abusing the crap out of it. I mean, I clean the lens every few days or whatever, but I've been burning a lot of slate, and that's at 5,000. I think it's like at 5,000 speed at 100%, or 55, 60%. I think it is, whatever it is. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of engraving in these last 2 months. Not only practicing, but actually making products and doing my first sale, which is, man, awesome. Gave the guy a deal because he wanted 60 coasters, and he said, can you give me a discount? And I'm, because I was doing 4 for 25, and so I lowered the price. And then he came back and he says, hey, yeah, I wanted 15 sets. Can you do 20 sets? And so it was like, yeah. And I just finished those up, so I'm pretty happy about that. And